Radhe Radhe, Hare Krishna. This is Shankar once again, and here in my class, I'm going to talk about a particular horoscope where I try to discuss an horoscope and also give you some predictive techniques. And this is by the systems I have tried to understand. This is my way of analyzing it, and you would also pick up tips from it. This is the horoscope of a lady born in 1987. Now, if you look at the horoscope, it's an excellent horoscope as far as the Vedic system is concerned. The Lord of Lagnesh is Saturn, which has gone in the Jeshta Nakshatra. It is ruled by Mercury. It is very good. The lady should be like an Indra, and Jeshta Nakshatra says you're like Indra, you will get all things of life the way you get it. That is not the method, but Saturn has gone into the nakshatra of Mercury and Jesht with the qualities of Jesht, which is by Indra. It has Mercury and Venus. One of the astrologers I've seen in YouTube say Lakshmi Narayan Yoga is there. So she actually has a very good Lakshmi Narayan Yoga. Then you have a retrograde Jupiter, which is an Aries, very good. They say Jupiter retrograde, there is nothing wrong in it. You have Rahu in it, and you have a Chandrama exalted in it. And on the 9th house, the 5th and 9th house, have Mars, Sun and Ketu. But now I will not go into details of the horoscope, but let's understand. This lady let's understand her personal life first. She got duped into a marriage by a lie, and she was forced to marry somebody who was already married and had divorced. Okay? Now, how did that happen? If you look at the chart, you have Venus and you have Mercury in the front of it. Whenever you have Venus and Mercury and about 10 degrees or so in front of it, ahead of it, Mercury is a planet which is a conniving planet, it's a cunning planet, it's a planet of duality, it is a planet of instability. It is in the house of Venus. It has just come out of its exaltation house. It is enjoying itself in the house of Venus, and it's just ahead. It's got full of cunning, the intelligent, cunning, duality. All that is that. So Venus, as the lady, goes with Mercury, and this Venus and Mercury goes in touch with Saturn. Saturn again is a negative planet where it is as far as personal relationships is concerned, it does not follow the rule. And here it is actually what happens is Mercury, Saturn and Venus, all three are friends also. So here Saturn helps Mercury in its tricks and designs. So when Mercury move together and they go and meet Saturn, Mercury and Saturn get together. And Mercury and Saturn, when they get together, they become very conniving in nature. And when they become very conniving in nature, and they're affecting this Venus, and ahead of this planet is Rahu. Rahu is the planet which ultimately gives the stamp, do it. So this lady went into a particular relationship, because here if you look at it from Venus, I'm not talking about how I rotate Venus, but I'm rotating Venus. You have to rotate Venus to find the event. That is how the Nadi system is done. But here you see that Venus gets into a problem. It is duped by Mercury and Saturn together with Rahu in the front and Jupiter retrograde. Whenever Jupiter is retrograde in what I've understood is, it will always go to the house back. So here Rahu gets the energy of Jupiter. So therefore the lady, even though that is why the lady, after even knowing that she was duped, she decided to marry. It was a settled marriage. It was a marriage through the advertisement, where the person went, a very rich family, good family, they saw each other, and a very beautiful girl, because Venus Mercury together makes her very beautiful, tall, lovely, beautiful figure, good to look at. Stunning. If you look at her, you won't be able to remove your eyes from her. It's that kind of a beauty is there. And that is what Venus and Mercury has given her this. But you see the planets like this, how Venus moves, how the planets are moving. And remember, whenever Moon is ahead of Jupiter, Moon is a very big cheat. Moon was a very big cheater. And Moon here, maybe in the nakshatra of, it could be nakshatra Mrikshira, Rohini. Moon is in the nakshatra of Mars, so it's the nakshatra of Mrikshira. And Mrikshira again, Mrikshira and Rohini were the two ladies who were very, very, very dear to Moon. And it has a whole story behind it. Remember, Moon is always deceptive. Moon is a deception planet. As far as relationship is concerned, it makes you to cheat. So here, a Moon is also, next to Jupiter is Moon, the planet which tends to cheat. So therefore, she was cheated the marriage. When they came to know all this happening, they didn't know what to do. But because Rahu had the influence of Jupiter, despite it playing the game, Saturn, Mercury, Rahu, Saturn, Mercury and Rahu, and you have to see, going through it various houses. I also see it going through various nakshatras and how the nakshatras also play a role, seeing all that into consideration. But, mota, just say, for making quick astrological, you see here how this lady was cheated and she agreed to marry because Rahu had, if this Jupiter wouldn't have been retrograde, she wouldn't have married. But because the Jupiter was retrograde, Rahu had the energy of Jupiter. She said, despite now coming to know that I have been deceived, and deception was due to Mercury, Saturn and traveling towards Rahu, which has the energy of Jupiter, says, because even though I know I have been deceived, and when they came to know that the guy was married, was divorced, they went into a marriage. Now let us understand how the marriage played. How the marriage played. Lord of 7th has gone in 5th. Most of the people say that whenever the Lord of 7th goes in 5th, it's a love marriage. It was not a love marriage. It was a very clear settled marriage. Lord of 7th in 5th, always people, there is a tendency to say that people go into marriage. Now, if you look at marriage, the most important thing in my way of dealing with astrology is not only looking at the 7th house, which is critical and important, but what is important is to look at a Mars, because the Mars is what it represents the husband. Now here, if you see, Mars is in very close conjunction with Ketu. In fact, Ketu is gobbling Mars. Mars is at 8 degrees 35 minutes and Ketu is 8 degrees 34 minutes. Excellent. So Ketu is a karmic planet. Ketu cuts, Ketu cheats, Ketu puts you into problems. And they are in the sign of Virgo, which is the natural sign of debts, diseases, enemies, fighting, court, litigation. Everything is denoted by the sign of Virgo. So this Mars with Ketu, absolutely, by seeing this combination, I can say that the person whom she was getting married was a secretive person, was a person who was not telling the entire thing, was cut between people, and actually the husband was cut between the wife, the mother, and so on and so forth. The person didn't have couldn't take a stand because Ketu cuts. Ketu makes you to fall. Ketu can make you to rise also, but Ketu also makes you to fall. Ketu has a lot of things to. Ketu is something like small, which cannot be seen. And Ketu, wherever it is there, it will spoil the positive traits of that particular planet. So Mars is the husband, so it gives that husband which has the traits which I just explained. Sun being there and ahead of Mars and Ketu is the issue. The person looked like a royal person, at least, a sixth house, whenever Virgo is there, a person can make himself look as a very, a great personality, very good to talk to, and, and the husband was tall, he was dark, everything was there. He could talk, he was a very good talker. And that, the sun which is there, because here sun is not very good. Sun's next house is the house of debilitation. So sun is moving towards this house of debilitation. So when sun is here moving towards the house of debilitation, remember that. So whenever sun is moving towards the house of debilitation, it also talks a lot about a father, but it also talks about the person. The person's, the time this girl, her father is not very well placed and had a lot of issues, but that is, I'm not going to get into that because that is when you discuss. So here, Mars and Ketu was the problem. Mars and Ketu goes and meets Mercury. If you look at the husband here, Mars and Ketu goes and meets Mercury, Venus over here. Now here again, Ketu, Mars, Venus, Ketu, Mercury. Mercury and Venus together. I mean, let's see how does Mars play. Mars has got Ketu behind it. It first meets the Sun. So, and Sun, I've told you what it signifies. What is it? After that, it goes and meets. Venus, and then it meets Mercury, and then it meets Saturn, right? So that is again, everything gets blocked here by Saturn. Everything gets blocked by Saturn, and 3rd and 11th always have a very important relationship amongst themselves. So, there is, whenever there is two planets in 3rd and 11th, they can be seen as having energies together. They have a relationship. So Saturn actually has the energy of Rahu. So here the husband himself was a cheat because Ketu produces a cheat. Ketu produces a thief. Ketu produces a person who cuts. Ketu is the co-lord of Scorpio, and Scorpio, what it deals with. Ketu is also a planet which is like a sniper. It cuts your head. Ketu is a planet without head. It's a sniper. It cuts your head. It can shoot you. It can cut you, and that is what has happened in this case. When she got married, and because there is Mercury, Venus here, of course, the relationship had to take place. They got married. There was a relationship amongst them, and then finally, it was about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I'm 7th or 8th year after the marriage, they were separated. The person concerned left her and did not come to take her back. And of course, they went abroad also, they came back to India also. And then the person left her in her mother's place and did not come back. That is also after producing a child. Now that again can be explained if you see how the child story plays here is that when you rotate Mars like this and take it all over here, again, this aspect of cheating which is there takes place. This Rahu, Jupiter, Moon, this particular combination here, and the Saturn, Mercury, and this Ketu combination here, and these 3 points and these 3 points tell the whole story that how this lady was, cheated, got married, had a child, because a child had to be produced. Had the Jupiter not been here in any way, then it would have been an illegitimate child. But since Jupiter was there, it was a legitimate child. A legitimate child was produced, and after that, the lady was left. So this shows the whole story, and still they have not gone in for any legal divorce. They have not gone for anything, but the guy left the lady, left her in the lurch with a child, with a male child, left her with a male child, and reason was the basic reason of their leaving was the characteristic of Mars. The person himself was a person who was dual, who used to bang his head, who used to, bang the pressure cooker on his head. When he used to get angry, he used to throw things. He used to become violent. I mean, those were the things which, which make this lady, it took her into a trauma. And that you have to see from Mars, Ketu, Surya. This was the place. Mars gives you an entire idea. And the planet which is fifth to Mars, there is no planet which is fifth. The ninth planet which is ninth to Mars is here Moon, and seventh is Rahu. So both the planets of the highest degree of planets in personal relationships, they will make the person aggressive. The Moon makes the person a cheat. So aggression and cheating, he used to have these bouts. The lady didn't know how to handle it. So she came back. She also, of course, the guy went to the mother, cried to the mother, etc. But that is the side story. That is the side story. But this was the main reason, and reason of this kind of behavior which a person can have. Please look at Mars very carefully. Look at Mars, for the husband, look at Mars, look at the Mars in which the sign is placed, what the sign says, which is the planet which is lowest, behind this thing, Mars, which is the planet ahead of Mars, and which is the planet in the second, and then third, and then so on. Then look at it. 5th, 9th, 11th, these are planets which you have to link. So this also showed the aggressive and the peculiar behavior of this particular gentleman, which led to this woman, leaving and departing because of this. And whenever you see a Jupiter retrograde coming between Rahu and Chandrama, it is never good. It is never good. Whenever Rahu is there and Jupiter retrograde in the next house, actually it is Jupiter-Rahu combination. And a Jupiter-Rahu combination is never good for family life. So this Jupiter retrograde in 4th house has created the domestic instability in her life, and also the problem with her mother. I mean, she has an unhappy mother because of the whole aptitude of things. So in this whole system, otherwise, if you look at this horoscope, nobody would say that anything wrong in that. Oh, Mars is Ketu, no problems. The person would be in the business of telecommunication, computers, he'll be a good job, he would be in, all that is there. All that is there. The person also will, travel abroad because Rahu was in 12th house, you see, in the 12th sign. In Nadi system, we take the sign as most important. So it was in the 12th sign, the husband would be represented by Mars. It has got Rahu opposite. So the person made short travels, also stayed abroad, So when he got married, he was working abroad, even that is there. So a lot of things may also get, seen by the method I follow, which is basically planets, Kartatva, sign, and nakshatra, and the rotation of Venus. But here I was trying to explain to you that despite, if I was to see this horoscope and say, marry this guy, I would say, okay, fair enough, as per the Vedic system, there's no problem. You please go ahead. And anybody who has to comment that, anything which you can see, please let me know. Because, you have Lord of Seventh, which is exalted. What is the problem? As soon as you say Lord of Seventh is exalted, the husband should be good, excellent, no problems at all. Okay? And you have even, there is no problem. But what one has to see is, in any horoscope, is where Mars, irrespective, the sign, the planet with it, the planet front of it, planet next to it, planet third to it, planet 5th, 9th, 11th, and the whole rotation of Mars. It will give you the life of the person. And the lady's horoscope, the way you have to see it, because it is a girl's horoscope, I'm seeing a Mars rotating Mars. Because it was woman's horoscope, I saw Venus. And when I rotate Venus, it is nothing but a person, a lady who is going to get deceived and have a very tough life. However, the lady is well qualified. She is doing her job. She is raising her child alone. She has good amount of money. She is good looking, etc., etc. All things are also there. And the husband also is, a very smart person, had gone abroad, came back, good to talk to, but had that problem of, banging his head, shouting, throwing a fit, whimsical, saying sorry, then again saying something else, kind of all those kind of things. And that was very clear. if you see at the position of Mars. Today, people only see Mars in 2, 4, 7. What is Mars in second house? Today's world, Mars second house means family. A lady will exert in the family. Mars in the fourth house shows a person will exert as far as, or taking care of her house. She'll want her bedroom to be, a bedroom to be there, which is properly made. Seventh house, an aggressive approach to life. 12th house, aggressive approach to sex. And Mars in 8th house doesn't mean the husband would die. We always keep on seeing the Mangalik dosh. But here is a simple system where I see Mars, I see the rotation of Mars, I see the rotation of Venus. And remember very clearly, whenever retrograde Jupiter is there and Rahu is the 12th, it is going to create problems. Jupiter is there and Moon is ahead. There will be some scandal whenever in life. That depends on the rotation of Jupiter. So if you look at the lady's life, I would say 24 to 36. 24 to 36 was the toughest period in her life, because in 24 to 36, though Jupiter is in the fifth, from the fifth, it is fifth, but it is getting gobbled here by Rahu. It has the aspect of Rahu, and it goes and meet its Moon. Does Jupiter like Moon? We all know the story of Jupiter and Moon. Remember, never forget the story of Jupiter and Moon. Moon deceived Jupiter like nobody else could. I mean, he captured his wife, he made love with his wife, he produced a child with his wife. When Jupiter was called by Moon to do a yagna, to perform a yagna, so that the beauty increases, prosperity increases. Jupiter went with Tara to Moon's place. That is what is my net understanding of the story. To Jupiter and Moon, Jupiter and Tara, the wife of Jupiter, went to Moon's place to perform a religious function, and over there they went into a relationship and produced a child. So how can Jupiter like Moon? Moon is a very big cheat and deceptive planet. Moon in Taurus, yes, gives you resources, gives you money. Another thing, but let us not mix this. Astrology has to be seen. No planet is good, no planet is bad. There are 100 things which is good in the planet, 100 things bad in the planet. So Moon in Taurus will give a lot of things. But Moon in Taurus, with respect to Jupiter, with respect Rahu and Moon, and with Jupiter in between, has a very different story to tell as far as the whole aspect of life is concerned of the particular lady. Perhaps I've talked much more and repeated again and again to explain you so that you can understand this concept. I want you to apply it and let me know about it, especially about Jupiter and Rahu and Mars and Ketu at very degrees, and also see the worthlessness of Mercury and Venus. Whenever Mercury is ahead of Venus and it goes and meets Saturn, it puts Venus into problems, because Mercury and Saturn combine together to create problems. So these are a lot of things which you have to see. But yes, every other thing which a pop astrologer may predict would be right. But as far as marriage was concerned, it's a no-no. It was a very bad marriage, where initial deception was there. Then there was the psychological problem. And then there was a child. And then the person left the woman at the mother's place and has not come back, they have not united, and there has not been any legal divorce. So this is very clearly shown in this chart, the way I have analyzed it. And I hope you would have liked this. Please write your comments and let me know. I'm there for any discussions. Thanks for being a part of my family. Please subscribe and like the channel. Thanks. Bye. Radhe Radhe. Jai Shri Krishna.